Well, hi everyone. This is Ursie, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. Today, I just wanted to give you a little slideshow on something that I've been so happy to discover. This is the discovery for me of the constellation of Pegasus. Now, I don't want you to be confused. This is my cute little toy and my stuffy. It is a unicorn. So a unicorn has one corn coming off the top of his head, but a unicorn is not Pegasus. So I wanted to start that off right away because Pegasus is the flying horse. And there's a beautiful story around Pegasus that I would love to share with you. Part of being on the Ascension Playground is to share stories that might, I don't know, uplift or bring meaning. Or if you look at some of these beautiful fixed stars to find out if they're in your natal chart. So I'm here to share joy with you. And on that note, thank you so much. I see that the Ascension Playground now has, get this, over 450 subscribers. Oh, thank you, thank you. Because when we hit 501, the 501st subscriber, we are going to be able to do a community page. So thank you, thank you. So without further ado, let's get into the beautiful story of Pegasus. I'm going to share my screen. You know, there's a certain kind of enchantment when you start talking about the winged horse of heaven. And so here we go. Look at this eyeball. First of all, you need to know Pegasus is the white horse. You might see different versions and colors for Pegasus, but it is a white celestial horse and it represents a particular constellation. But here's my big question. Doing research, because thank you so much. I'm having a great deal of fun being now a certified quantum soul guidance practitioner. But in doing research, I came across this question in astrologyking.com that said, are we currently in the age of Pegasus? There's a little question mark behind my head. So let's figure out what that story is. And at the end of this little slideshow, maybe we can answer that question. So here's my first question for you as I sit in this lovely hand. It's kind of like a little joke. What do you get when you mix, dun, 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 King Neptune of the sea and Medusa? Now, Medusa is the female with the snakes on her head. Before she had the snakes on her head, however, she was gorgeous. So I just want to hold space for the divine feminine, that she wasn't always so brutally the evil one. She also has a backstory, but that's for another fun conversation on the playground. So what happens when you take King Neptune, king of the sea, the oceans, and you combine it with Medusa? You get Pegasus. Okay, here's the flying, beautiful white horse of heaven. Now, this horse was born, unfortunately, from the blood of Medusa. When Perseus came and chopped off Medusa's head, as the blood of Medusa hit the sea, the ocean, Neptune, Pegasus was born, and there was a second horse as well. So, Pegasus, the winged horse. Now, in doing my little research, of course, I had to bring in, who is this guy, Ptolemy? Ptolemy. And I'm assuming it's a silent P, right? So Ptolemy, 2nd century, way back in the days when we thought everything evolved around the earth, right? Geocentric. Anyway, he was an astronomer and he did a book called the Almagest. And so in Latin, a later version, there's a little picture of the book, but Ptolemy named 48 constellations when he looked up into the heavens. And back in his day, one of the 48 was named Pegasus. And so right above me is this beautiful image of how those stars connect. and show a winged horse. Now, when you talk about the winged horse, I showed you first the picture of it upright in the heavens. But really, when you look up into the night sky, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're going to see Pegasus in the summer in particular. It's really an upside down horse, but it's only upside down from our Earth perspective. When we go into the heavens, the enchanted celestial sky at night, we're going to see the stars as they are. And so it might be upside down from Earth, but it's perfectly in the right direction, up, down, quantum in the heavens. So here you see the constellation Pegasus. Let me go like that. Now, Pegasus has Andromeda. See Andromeda up in the corner? The top of her crown, her head, actually shares a star with Pegasus's navel. It's called the fixed star Alpherots. So if you're listening and you're familiar with that fixed star, Alpherots, yes, it's an Andromedan star, but it's also the star in Pegasus. So they share a star. At least this is how the research has opened up to my understanding. So you have next to Pegasus, if you go around the clock, you have Andromeda, and then you have some kind of lizard named Lacerta, then Cygnus, the beautiful swan, Aquila, the eagle, and then right after that you have Aquarius. And next to Aquarius, then you have Pisces. Now this is going to be very important later when we see that Pisces, the fish, and Aquarius. When we work with the ecliptic, that's that shoestring, quote unquote. This is Bernadette Brady's idea of a shoestring of how we track the zodiac. Bernadette said, okay, for a moment, stop working with the ecliptic and just look at the enchanted sky. And this is where Bernadette starts talking about parans or parens. So it's looking at the holistic view of the heavens. But I don't want to go there just yet. I just wanted to show you this picture. So when we talk about the age of Pisces, see the fish, and the age of Aquarius, we're going to have a big surprise because we got Pegasus right in the middle. So here is how Pegasus shows in the heavens. Now look at this fun picture I've got for you. This is a picture from that box of stars that's working with Urania's images, Urania's mirror. So this is the image for Pegasus, again, the white winged horse of the heavens. Now, Pegasus, like the birds and angels and the other celestial winged creatures, is really a metaphor or an allegory for what we call the superior spiritual powers, magical powers. You ready for that? Enchantment. How's your day going? Do you need a little sprinkle of enchantment? Well, this story of Pegasus, it's really important to understand its birth, right? So you've got ocean and water with the feminine Medusa, magic, but from her blood. So what does this mean? Well, the story of Pegasus before the horse was put into the heavens by Jupiter, or the king of Olympus, the horse was flying around and it would help with swiftness and travel to the heavens. So some say after Pegasus was put into the heavens by Zeus, it is connected with Zeus's thunderbolts. So this idea of lightning strikes or suddenness. So if you happen to have this strongly in your natal chart, there could be a swiftness or agility with not only the body, but how you show up spiritually. Like when you meditate and you go inward, you might be able to have a certain swift connection with the heavens. Okay, don't you love I put pink all around too? So yes, do you have a fixed star from Pegasus Constellation? Now, I love the astrochart.com calculator by Julia Balaz, but at this moment in time, Pegasus is not one of the constellations added to that calculator. So let me show you how to find it. Okay, so Pegasus has 16 named stars. So it could have more, and in those stars could have planets, but currently there are only 16 of the stars that are named. And so when you look above, I showed you for the year 2000, this is the degree of where Pegasus stars were. So this is using astrologyking.com. So what you do is you look down, and I've circled one of the stars. I hope I'm saying the star's name right, but it's Scheat. So you could say it one way, like sh-8, shate, she-ate. If you say it really fast, it could sound like she-ate. So anyway, in 2000, the year 2000, it was at 29 degrees Pisces, 22 minutes. Well, guess what? It has slightly moved since the year 2000, since we're now in 2022, a magical year for all of us, right? Those master two numbers. Well, I'm going to hold a pause for that for a moment, but you can see where the other stars are. And I have a wonderful client who I wanted to point out. Look where Saddlebari is. Saddlebari. Saddlebari sounds like the saddle of Pegasus. So it is 2 up from Scheat at 24 degrees Pisces, 22 minutes in the year 2000. So when we do your reading, we'll be talking about Saddlebari. But here we are now talking about Scheat in the sky. This happens to be the Pegasus fixed star Scheat, part of what they call the Great Square. So see the square between Scheat at the top, Markab, Alganib, and Alpheratz. Alpheratz, remember, was the star that is at the crown or brow of Andromeda. So it's a northern constellation for Pegasus. If you're in the southern hemisphere and you're like, where is it? You may not be able to see it. So it is, I showed you between Cygnus, and there's a constellation called Delphinius, which is the dolphin, and Andromeda. But did you know, since we're adding a little fun on the playground, that Pegasus is the 7th largest constellation? I had no idea it was that large. It's like spanning 40 degrees. So it includes Aries and Pisces. Interesting to note that. Okay, so the age of Pegasus. I had no idea that there was even such a thing. I had heard age of Pisces, and we're moving then to the age of Aquarius. Who'd ever heard of the age of Pegasus? Well, guess what? According to Jamie on Astrology King, he says, here's a theory, that whatever constellation is at a 0 degrees Aries, 0 degrees Aries, this is astrology speak, is where the beginning happens, the beginning of the zodiacal wheel. This is the moment of birth. This is creation moment. So whatever sits at 0 degrees Aries, in the heavens. So he talks about the fixed star moving by the precession of the equinoxes to 0 degrees Aries. Well, guess what? That fixed star that I'm hoping I'm saying its name, Scheat, or when shit hits the fan or hits the 0 degrees of Aries, it is called now, according to Jamie, the potential of the age of Pegasus, because this fixed star is sitting at 0 degrees. When I showed it to you earlier in the chart, it was, the latter degrees of Pisces. Well, things shift a little bit for fixed stars. They call them fixed stars because they usually move so slowly, whereas the planets and the sun and the moon, we are moving on our own orbital timing, but fixed stars, because they're typically so far away, are rather stationary. So I did a little graphic if you're visually inclined. What age are we currently in? Again, Pisces and Aquarius, we've heard that. What I hadn't heard is the present moment of Pegasus. So I do track and follow the great teachings of Cryon, Kryon, not Chiron, Cryon. Cryon is a channel that comes through a man named Lee Carroll. Anyway, This Arcturian channel called Cryon talks about the shift of ages beginning in 2012. So many of us were looking at 1212, 2012, and then 1221, 2012 as that moment of shift. Cryon says everything before 2012, later in time, will be looked at as the dark ages. And then the age of light really beginning in 2012. So my thought was, why not hold the energy and the space of Pisces and Aquarius? And here we bring in this beautiful winged horse of Pegasus. I'm going to stop sharing. That's my little slideshow. So Pegasus, this idea of thunderbolts, of connection to Jupiter, Zeus, the god of Olympus. The horse was known to be able to, with its hooves, wherever it went on earth, it could bring up water, springs of water. And boy, couldn't we use water in some areas of the planet experiencing drought, and less water in certain areas of the planet that are experiencing major flooding. So my thought was, in holding this age of Pegasus, this beautiful horse, wouldn't it be amazing to take a ride? Now, there was someone, and let me see, I think his name was Bellerophon. He wanted to go up and take a ride on the horse, and something happened where Zeus saw that Bellerophon was riding Pegasus into the heavens and said, nope, you're not coming in. So he sent like a gnat to cause Pegasus to jolt, and then Bellerophon fell off the horse. And so that no one else could ride Pegasus into the heavens, Zeus then brought the horse into the heavens as a constellation. So holding that story of, if you dare to invite and ride Pegasus, metaphorically, where would you go? What would you want to do? For what gain to support the collective? So on a playground, if you have a Pegasus, so let me just pretend there's no unicorn and put some wings, the beautiful white horse, what fun might you want to play with? And for those of you who are listening who love learning, imagine what it feels like to say, oh yes, today, in this now moment, I embrace the energy of the age of Pegasus. So get your white horse ready, get those wings on. Maybe Pegasus, the horse and the human, will have a beautiful merged energy to help us move more into this time where we do need to hold water with this more balanced view, and to embrace our genesis of the constellation and the stars of the heavens. Okay, thank you again for listening. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, please feel free to. I could use every comment, every subscriber, as together we look at how we lighten up one another and sharing various stories, various tools for navigating these new earth energies. Okay, my friends, see you next time on the Ascension Playground. Bye for now.